a scam enticing married men into what was called a badger scam, which I didn't get a chance to look up. So a lot of the testimony against him was retracted later, but some of it is authentic. He probably did put his hand on the shoulder of women. The thing that was bad about that is he was using, as were other men, his power position to be familiar with women, and it was resented by their parents and that class. So the opposition to commutation was workers, small farmers, merchants, individual property owners, and his commutation, even though I believe it's correct, was by the industrial elite in the main, and Jews later. And originally blacks supported him, and certainly were, they know it was a lynch. If you were a black man, you watched a crowd outside of that court, you know it's a lynch mob. Sometimes when a jury passed through, toughs would run up to him, you don't convict this guy, we're going to kill you, things like that. Some of that's been denied, but there is affidavits both ways. Any event, some say that they cried out from the window, you don't hang them, you don't hang that Jew, we'll hang you. That's been denied. But the point is, there was another strike going on right at the time, another Jewish-owned company that's always neglected. It was neglected by, called the Fulton Bag Strike, where they employed labor spies. The workers were white, and they lived in a thing that Elsass, the European Jew, built, called Cabbagetown, and anti-Semitism became rife there at the same time. And they hired strike breakers, real nice people, and employed child labor. And in 1887, they tried to hire some black women, and the white workers protested. Okay, so that case is usually left out, but Nancy McLean factors it in. And she also, there was a race riot in 1906 in Atlanta, where they accused Jews of selling liquor to blacks and enticing them to rape white women. There was a temperance movement, a child slavery movement, a white slavery movement. A lot of it had anti-Semitic tropes. And so a lot of that's left out when you read either the Nation of Islam stuff or the white supremacist stuff. And how much time do I have?
We have used up 38 minutes.
Oh, okay, so I still have some time. So what I liked about Nancy McLean, here's a statement in her write-up. Not enough care about Mary Fagan when she was alive, and too much concern when she's dead. In other words, she was an oppressed child laborer who could be laid off, underpaid, and no one gives a shit about that. They didn't do anything about that, but they were disconcerted about that. But by using this, what she calls reactionary populism, and lynching Leo Frank. By the way, why did this elite crowd decide to lynch Leo Frank? Because there was a revolution in the making. The masses were in upheaval, and they blamed the state of Georgia, which had a long history of racism. In fact, led in many years in lynching for this. And I just think that this elite crowd first reconnoitered up there and knew they could get away with it. Decided that we got to stop this thing. And by doing that, they stopped this movement, this popular movement. They stopped the attacks on the state of Georgia. And the big Christian capitalists could go on unnoticed exploiting child. They had the worst record of child labor in Georgia than any other southern state. So my analysis is that two forces were impinging on Slayton and his supporter Hoke Smith, which was another governor. They wanted to. They also had changed the old-fashioned county unit way of voting, so that the city could have a preponderance. And they also changed the tax base that favored industrialization in the city. So these were class forces. And what I liked about Nancy McLean is she integrates class analysis with gender and racism, and she integrates it into and she shows that the woman question evolves with the changing of class structure and social history. So it's not a static question, it's an evolving contentious structure. And unfortunately, I discovered her writings only in the last 2 weeks. Is that it for me?
You're
Okay, all right. So I have a lot more to say, but we'll do that in the Q&A. And I hope people at least got a grasp of the two cases. Thank you very much.